Howdy folks, Elcrix here, and welcome to Thoughts from the Innersphere, episode 46. Well, today we're going to delve into that 30-ton mech, the Valkyrie. Now, the Valkyrie is an interesting little mech. It's a 30-tonner. It's got some interesting stats here. Let's just go into it. It's a 5.85, so it has jump jets. Obviously, a light mech needs jump jets, in my opinion. Carries around 96 points of armor, just shy of max, I think half a ton. And as an interesting, for weapon wise, 11 heat sinks. And then it carries an LRM-10 with 1 ton of ammo in the left torso and a ton of ammo in the right torso. 1 medium laser in the right arm, and those 5 jump jets are in the left leg, right leg, and 1 in the center torso. Now, what to do with this thing? Well, I look at this as a fire support mech for a light lance, plain and simple. If you need an LRM-10 and you need to do a little indirect or add something to the mix, this mech can do it for at least 12 turns until the ammo bay goes dry or somebody hits that right torso with a crit, and next thing you know it goes catastrophic. But because that's the only place you have any type of crit, it's just ammo. That's one of the downfall of this mech. I watched this mech go up in smoke many times just from one hit. Now, how do I play this mech? Well, I basically put it in a light lance, not necessarily in a medium lance, because it's got the speed, but it doesn't have the armor. You can use it in the medium lance as a kind of a reposition. Now, let's say if you have a lance made up of a trebuchet, Valkyrie, or something like that, where you're using it as a medium light fire support. A dervish, trebuchet, Valkyrie, anything. They all have missiles. Are able to just kick back and rain down some death at range. And then when their ammo bay is dry, they could either dive in there and do some extra curricular activities up close, or just, all right, we're done, we're out of here, and go resupply at the ammo truck and then try doing it again. And that's pretty much, a lot of times how I use this mech. Now, the other thing to do is that you throw it in a light lance, and you got a couple energy style mechs up front that are whipping around, zipping here and there, and then this guy just parks himself someplace in a nice little cubby hole someplace, and then just starts raining down till the ammo's dry. Then he's left with just that medium laser. That's not really a lot of firepower for a mech that's 30 tons. Just a medium laser. It's like, yeah, you're better off just turning around and go resupply, and you're not doing your much good that way. Now, other than that, that's pretty much how I use it. And over the years, in a lot of the games, like I said, it's like I'll try to move around the flanks or get into a position where, let's say you get behind a hill and you can do some indirect and you let the other guys do the job of spotting for you. Or if you're in direct fire, you're sitting at longer range until the ammo bay is dry. Now, there have been quite a few times where, like I said, if you find a mech that's running a little short on a flank, one of his right or left torsos or legs or something of that nature has been hit hard, and you can run over and try to get into that side and start funneling in crit hunting. And basically that's kind of like one of the things also, is that it's kind of like a long range crit hunter, with the LRM, because the odds are you're not going to ever do 10 points of damage. You look at the missile chart, you're talking 10s, 11s, 12s, on 2 dice to be able to get the max out. It's going to be a lot less than that usually. you know, your average, you know, going to be around the 6 points. So you're going to get 2 chances, hit 2 different locations. And if somebody's got a lot of armor ripped off and they got some open spots, yeah, you're going to be crit hunting. And that's kind of, think about it, comes in handy when you're running around in a medium lance with this thing. Now, if you're the typically, if you're in the light lance, the LRM-10 is probably going to be the big weapon in the lance, so they're probably going to want you to fire first to do the most damage, and then their little weapons are going to be trying to do the crit hunting themselves with the up-close weapons. So, you know, that's kind of how you're going to work it. And just situation to dictate. You have to look at how it works out. Who you want to run in the order of operations is who has the biggest weapons to rip off the most armor. And sometimes in a light lance, the Valkyrie might be the one that's doing it. All right. Now, let's just look at a couple. They got one variant. Basically, it replaces the medium laser with a flamer. So I can see that one where you can rain down some death on infantry. They're dug in. You know, this might be something you use as a support of a fire starter or a Vulcan. You know, throw it in the lands with something like that. That actually wouldn't be a bad deal, because then it can provide a little bit of fire support while the other ones are closing up on the infantry. And then you go in with that flamer and do the little Bernie dance with them. And that's not a bad deal. Now, let's just look at one variant that I always like to do, is that I look at the amount of heat this thing creates with its weapons. Medium laser and LRM-10 are nowhere near 11 points. Yeah, I can understand the philosophy of having that extra heat sink, just because you're trying, if you're jumping, you're going to create more heat. And that might be why they're doing that. But to be honest with you, what I usually do is I convert that one heat sink into a medium laser. So it now has 2 medium lasers. So you have a little bit in close support up to range 9. And that's actually a better deal than that one heat sink, because as a player I can mitigate my heat, and I know how to handle heat a lot better than a lot of people do that I faced over the years. And I just look at it, it's like, all right, yeah, I'd rather have that extra medium laser than the heat sink on this mech. And then that gives you some in-close capabilities, because 10 points damage equates to the same as your LRM. And if someone gets into your face, your LRM, you're not going to be shooting at the person that's in your face. You're going to be finding a target at longer range. And you're better off probably firing 2 medium lasers. That's basically how I would deal with it. That's about the only variant I've ever done with it, because I like that LRM. Because you can use it as that fire support over long range operations, you know, in support of the lance that you're probably running with. So other than that, that's pretty much everything that I can say about this mech. You know, other than find yourself a good place. If you could find like a heavy wooded area and park yourself in it and be able to just run until that ammo bay is dry, it's the same as running most times, because you can go up to 5 hex movement. If you don't have to move, park yourself. And a +2 modifier is usually pretty good, especially if there's other mechs out there that are not as well defended for modifiers. And then you're able to rain that LRM down a little bit better without any modifiers for your own movement. That's something to think about. Or get in behind some partial cover behind a hill. Now, if you're sitting behind a level 2 or 3 hill and you're firing that LRM over top, and you're dealing with some vehicles trying to get some like motive hits and stuff and slowing them down, That's about the best you can hope for in a lot of cases, because you don't want to get hit. Let's say an AC-10 hits this guy. In most cases, an AC-10 is gonna punch through or rip off most all the armor on this mech in one shot. So that's one thing you got to keep, is either give yourself the modifiers or speed. Move as fast as possible. Alright. You got any questions about this mech, or have used it, how you use it, put her down below, and we'll talk with you later. This is Hulkrex, and you guys have a great one.